Hello, I wanted to take this opportunity to guide you through what you should be doing as we enter week 3. First of all, you can see that I am on the weekly assignments page, which I got to from this left tab here, and I am now in week 3, which will begin on Monday. So Monday by midnight, your culturally sensitive feedback reflection is due, and we'll talk about that and how you submit that in a few minutes. But first, I would like to point out what your focus should be for this week as you read chapters 1, 2, and 9 in a motto and do the online activities and readings. You should be considering how the classroom creates an environment for language acquisition and the importance of teaching grammar in language to assist in communication skills. You're also going to be looking at some practical strategies that you should be using in your classroom with your ELL students. You're going to click here for week 3, and you have your rubric for the assignment, which we'll take a look at in a minute. You have a video which is about 9.5 minutes in length from YouTube, but I think it's very useful. And this puts into practice the things you will be reading about. And this is an ELL classroom, a first grade classroom of ELL students doing a show and tell. And I think you will enjoy it. It's worth watching. Next, you have an article to read, and the whole article is right here for you. It is short, but I think it is interesting. And it discusses the role of grammar in communicative language teaching, similar to what you will be reading in the text, but another perspective. So once you've done that, you're going to make sure that you click on the discussion board and make sure that you have considered this. What can a second language teacher do to improve the affective environment in a classroom to promote a positive atmosphere? Now, last week, actually due on the 14th, you should have reflected upon the idea of culturally sensitive feedback. And of course, that goes to your reflection that you are writing for this week. Now, you should have posted your own. You'll post this week's about the affective environment, but you'll also make sure that you've responded to somebody else from last week. I hope that doesn't sound confusing. It's just you have 1 week to post an original, and then the next week to post the new one and a response to somebody else from the week before. Let me know if that doesn't make too much sense. So next, your submission for this week. So notice I've clicked on the submission area, and you'll see that here are the instructions on Safe Assign. If you've never used Safe Assign before, take some time to watch how you submit a draft, how you can view your own report, and interpret it. This one with the green check is the one where you can submit it and to Safe Assign and see how your paper is looked at as far as similarity to others, as far as correct citations, to make sure the whole purpose of Safe Assign is to guard against student plagiarism. And sometimes that plagiarism is not at all intentional, just that a student may not take the time or have the know-how of using APA citations. So remember also I sent you a site called citationmachine.net, which is the simplest and probably the most accurate way of doing your citations if you're not a APA citation specialist. So here's where you're going to actually click to submit your assignment to me. You're going to consider the supplemental readings, whatever you've posted on the discussion board, and your colleagues as well. And you're going to write a 2 to 3 page paper reflecting upon your understanding of the importance of culturally sensitive feedback. Now, some of that was already in your discussion post, and you can borrow that for your reflection as well. If you're not familiar with writing a reflection, then I suggest that you open up this that I've attached here. Let's open it up so we can take a look. And a reflection paper is an opportunity for you to critically engage with and connect to the readings. You may choose to focus on one particular passage, in your case, one topic, and respond to the main premise of the selection. You may comment on content, in this case, not necessarily the form of the writing. But a reflection is a dialogue between you and what you've read and your own experiences. We will add that to this. Now, a reflection paper is not a formal research paper, but it should have some kind of structure. It should also be analytical, giving you the opportunity to agree, disagree, like or dislike what you've read and relate to. The tone of a reflection paper should not interfere with clarity, and it should add to the cohesiveness of your writing. So, how do you do this? Well, before you have read anything, make a note of the ideas that you have, and you've done that in your discussion board posting. Now, as you've done your readings, you should have kept these questions in mind, hopefully, and you may take some notes, and these notes will provide some support for your ideas. So in this reflection, it's not just all from you. This has to be substantiated with something that you've read along the way. Now, you can choose to summarize briefly the points of this selection that you're including. However, a reflection is not a summary of the piece you've read. Instead, ask yourself some questions such as these. What insights have you gained from the reading? For example, have you learned about the literary genre? What have you learned about the literary genre from this selection, if that was the case? What are the limitations, not so great moments of this reading, and why? And how does this reading or the text present ideas that relate to you? In essence, remember, to reflect is to think back on something, to step back in time, relive a moment, event, or a series of happenings. And here's where your personal experience comes in. That is the primary goal of a reflective response. The secondary goal is for you to put together in your writing what you have learned from your readings. So there are really only two elements for you to focus on, and this will allow you to develop a very good reflective paper. Remember, you don't have to discuss everything. Sometimes less is more, and I'm looking for quality over quantity. And let me close that and get back to our Blackboard. And when you click here to submit your assignment, you might want to click before you're ready to submit your assignment, because you will see that you've got the same paper, access to the paper that I just clicked on, but you also have the opportunity to view the rubric as to how I will be grading your work. So this is 20% of your grade. That's why you see 20 points possible here. You can click here to view the rubric. And I'm not going to read this all to you, but notice it goes from unsatisfactory through exemplary. So naturally, I know you all want exemplary, right? So you're going to read this column going down and make sure that your paper meets these criteria. Okay, so notice it's not only your readings. I'm looking for outside experiences that you can draw upon, personal classroom experiences that you've had. Okay, and then just go down and look at the rest. So that's where you submit. Now, you do not have to type in this section. You can attach your file that you do outside of Blackboard so that you can make it look the way you want it to look, and then click Browse your computer to find it and do it as an attachment, and then click Submit. You're welcome to submit this early. It's up to you, or take all the time that you need to get this done. So that's about it for this week. I hope this helped to clarify things for you. I hope you're doing your reading, watching the videos, and participating as best as possible. Remember, I do have to take attendance in this class, and I do that by checking to see what your activity is during the week in Blackboard. If you have any questions, concerns, please email me, call me, do what you need to do so that I can be of help to you. Take care, stay well.